All right, we're looking at big bulldozer justice debate, which is raging on after 9 bulldozers took over northwest Delhi's Jahangirpuri days after Hanuman Jayanti clashes in the area. Is this bulldozer demolition due process or just a political revenge? That's our big focus right here on India Today. These are visuals that you get from different parts of Jahangirpuri, where the demolition drive was carried out in massive capacity. You had several bulldozers that came and mowed down, razed down most of those shops that were aligned with a masjid in the Jahangirpuri area that were allegedly illegal. Remember, the allegation against the MCD is that no notices were served. At least 15 to 20 days prior, notice must be served as per protocol, so that people there can vacate, can look for alternative arrangements. If not, can also justify if at all the illegal property that the MCD claims is indeed illegal or not. They can contest it, but they claim that no notice was served to them. Nonetheless, here the MCD, of course, saying that only illegal establishments, commercial shops were razed out. No legal structures were touched at all. Of course, the Supreme Court has stepped in, asked for a stay order on this matter, but despite a stay, an hour and a half later is only when the MCD slowed down, finally halted this demolition drive. Let me quickly cut across to our reporters joining us, Amit Bharadwaj, who's been there on ground, giving us all those details. But here are some of those images that really has made headlines today, right from the start of the day. We saw this massive demolition drive that took place, unprecedented scenes that played out in the capital city. Here are some of those top-defining images from Jahangirpuri demolition drive. Let's take a look. 9 bulldozers brought down illegal structures in Jahangirpuri just days after communal clashes unfolded in northwest Delhi colony. In fact, the first structure that was bulldozed was a juice shop in Jahangirpuri. Just outside this juice shop, communal clashes erupted on Saturday night on Hanuman Jayanti. In fact, this was the exact spot where the communal clashes broke out in Jahangirpuri, and this was the same spot where the bulldozers arrived first and started their demolition drive. Remember, the MCD says that there is no connection with the riots, but the timing of this bulldozers coming into play and demolishing most of those illegal establishments is now in question. Let me take you through images that really show what exactly happened right from the start of the day here. This is a demolition drive of illegal encroachments that happened right outside a mosque in Jahangirpuri, where illegal encroachments were demolished. The religious structure itself has been untouched, but look at the visuals here. You see how the bulldozer has broken down the gate and the wall of the mosque. The mosque gate has been broken down along with the wall that's adjoining the mosque. Now, this is exactly where the riots took place, right outside the mosque, and the mosque gate as well as the wall of the mosque has been demolished. Now, more images that really define what happened today, the commotion that broke out right outside Jahangirpuri, all along that area. You saw ruckus that ensued right after the police as well as the MCD officials along with bulldozers came by and demolished about 9 shops outside Jahangirpuri Mosque. In fact, the demolition drive was carried out by the NDMC, continued for about 1.5 hours, even after the Supreme Court gave orders of status quo. It took them almost an hour and a half for them to stop the demolition drive. All the bulldozers rolled into Jahangirpuri. In fact, panic-stricken locals right there stepped out, begging, crying, upset over this demolition drive. In fact, those panic-stricken locals were seen scrambling to take out whatever belongings that they could. They say that they never got a notice. Had they got a notice, then they would have made alternate arrangements. Many of them would have evacuated their belongings, their valuables from those shops and commercial establishments, but they claim they weren't given notices before this demolition drive. But here you see images of them loading all their stuff in auto rickshaws and tempos right when the bulldozers came in and demolished their commercial establishments. These are images, defining images.
कुछ भी नहीं दिया, चला गया, ढूंढने लगे।
All right, now the fallout of the Jahangirpuri violence has exploded in the national capital. Delhi witnesses bulldozer justice. Bulldozers ravaging small shops, buildings and shanties across Jahangirpuri in Delhi. At least 9 bulldozers were on an anti-encroachment drive, destroying shanties, shops and buildings in that locality, one after the other. Over 100 MCD officials were present, manning this entire anti-encroachment drive, where bulldozers came and razed down, literally mowed down those shops in barely an hour's time. Security was entirely beefed up in that area, fearing any kind of violence during this demolition drive. Over 400 police personnel deployed in Jahangirpuri for this drive. Special Commissioner of Police Dipendra Pathak was also present in that area, overseeing this entire operation.
This is ground zero, where people are standing in large number amidst tight security arrangement. This encroachment removal drive is going on here. Police is stopping us. कहाँ आप लोग कर रहे हैं? Even police forces are stopping us to go to the ground zero. But I can show you from here that how bulldozers are working at this time on the main road of Jahangirpuri. This is Kushal Cinema Chowk, which is popularly known as, and now I can show you how bulldozers, the pan that is removing everything from road, the encroachment are being cleared from here. So this is the visual, which is the most important visual after the incident which happened on Saturday. These bulldozers are on move. Now the things are clear that not one but multiple bulldozers are working here to remove encroachment from ground zero at Jahangirpuri. So although situation is under control because heavy police deployment has been done here, but at the same time proper precautions are being taken care of. You can see how people are standing at their homes and from near their homes. The encroachment removal drive is going on. Whatever is on the roads, that will be removed by the bulldozers. They are also breaking these stairs which are being built on the road. So encroachment is not just about what can be seen as the shops, but even at the homes, the stairs which are being built on road, that are also being removed by the bulldozers.
ये कॉर्नर पर वो दुकान है, यहीं से उस दिन वो पूरा जुलूस दाईं तरफ बढ़ा था और उसी पर कार्रवाई। सिर्फ कैमरा लगा रहे भैया, सिर्फ कैमरा कर रहे, सिर्फ कैमरा कर रहे। ये तस्वीरें आप देख रहे हो, ये बुलडोजर यहाँ पर भी चलता हुआ। ऐसे ही 2 बुलडोजर आ चुके हैं और दोनों आमने सामने, दोनों ही गलियों पर। एक बार जरा कैमरे से दिखा दीजिए, ये देखिए, ये दिल्ली फ्रूट जूस कॉर्नर पर ये हो रहा है अवैध निर्माण। नीचे में जूस कॉर्नर की दुकान और उसके बाद ऊपर में घर भी है, छोटे से रखने की भी। जिस तरह का अवैध अतिक्रमण यहाँ पर सड़कों पर हुआ था, उन सब पर कार्रवाई हो रही है। और उसी में आप देखिए, जब ये आगे का हिस्सा गिरा है तो पता चल रहा है ऊपर में पूरा घर है, पंखा लगा हुआ है, घर है, और उसे भी अब गिराया जा रहा है। कंक्रीट स्ट्रक्चर आप कह सकते हैं, ईंटों की ये दुकान है और कंक्रीट स्ट्रक्चर पर पहली बार आप इस तरह से चलते हुए देख रहे हैं।
एमसीडी का ये बुलडोजर अब धीरे धीरे करके कुशल चौक की तरफ पहुंच रहा है। हम आपको दिखाने की कोशिश करेंगे। देखिए, सामने की तरफ कुशल चौक है और ये बुलडोजर जो उत्तर प्रदेश में पहुंचा तो सियासत गर्म हुई, मध्य प्रदेश में पहुंचा तो सियासत गर्म हुई। अब ये बुलडोजर कुशल चौक एकदम सामने की तरफ आप देखेंगे तो कुशल चौक जो है सामने की तरफ मौजूद है, जहां पर जमकर हिंसा हुई थी। देखिए, ये जो बुलडोजर है, ये बुलडोजर अब कुशल चौक पर पहुंच चुका है। और ये बुलडोजर, जिसे बाबा का बुलडोजर के नाम से जाना जाता है, उत्तर प्रदेश में ये बुलडोजर पहुंचा था तो जमकर सियासत हुई थी। मध्य प्रदेश में पहुंचा, जमकर सियासत हुई थी। लेकिन अब ये बुलडोजर कुशल चौक पर पहुंच चुका है, जहां पर जमकर हिंसा हुई थी, बवाल हुआ था। और अब यहाँ पर जो इलीगल इंक्रोचमेंट था, उसको तोड़ने की कार्रवाई यहाँ पर शुरू होगी कुछ देर में। बुलडोजर पहुंच चुका है और आपको बताऊं, जब बुलडोजर यहाँ पर नहीं पहुंचा था, तब से सियासत वो काफी ज्यादा गर्म हो गई थी, लेकिन कुशल चौक जहां पर पहले से ही एक्स्ट्रा फोर्स डिप्लॉय किया गया है वहां पर ये बुलडोजर पहुंच चुका है। अब यहां पर जो इलीगल इंक्रोचमेंट था उसको तोड़ने की कार्रवाई जो शुरू होगी, भारी पुलिस बल की तैनाती हमने आपको सुबह से दिखा रहे थे आपको। शायद बहुत मुमकिन है कि जो कबाड़ी मार्केट जहां बड़े पैमाने पर हिंसा में शामिल आरोपी थे, जहां से पत्थरबाजी हुई थी, वहां पर एक्शन हो, लेकिन ये बुलडोजर जरांकित आपको तस्वीरें दिखाएं कुशल चौक जहां पर से हिंसा की शुरुआत हुई थी वहां पर पहुंच चुका है अब, और यहां अब एक्शन शुरू होने वाला है। जाहिर सी बात है एक्शन शुरू होगा तो एक्शन का रिएक्शन भी सामने आएगा, और अगर रिएक्शन आता है तो उसको संभालने के लिए भारी पुलिस बल की तैनाती यहां पर की गई है, पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस की तैनाती यहां पर की गई है।
All right, I'm going to quickly cut across to Shreya Chatterjee along with Amit Bharadwaj, who are joining me right from on ground in Jahangirpuri. Shreya, I'll start with you. These are scenes that unfolded in Jahangirpuri early this morning where bulldozers, 9 of them came by, mowed down several of those illegal establishments right outside the masjid of Jahangirpuri. In fact, the masjid gate, the masjid wall was also brought down by the bulldozer. Right before the Supreme Court stepped in asking for a stay order. What justification does the MCD have about allegations coming in that they haven't issued notices to these houses or to these commercial establishments at least 15 days in advance? That's the protocol. 15 days in advance, notice must be given. So these people who carry out their business there, this is their bread and butter, make alternative arrangements or contest the notice in those 15 days' time. Have they managed to justify those allegations? What have they said?
Well, Nabila, if I can line up the claims and counterclaims that are right now coming in, I'm outside Bansad shop, which belongs to Ganesh Kumar Gupta, and he very categorically says that this very shop was allotted by DDA, and he still pays the rent, and that goes, and he has all the documents, and he says that he questioned the people who came here to raise his shop, but they definitely did not want to listen. He also claims he has never got a single notice. On the other side, we heard the NDMC, they basically say that these are routine works that they carry forward to raise the encroachment properties. And, they point out that the structures they have raised were basically coming on the road, because of which they continued this drive. That is their claim to the allegations that are right now being levied by these people whose shops have been raised. Now, the other question is that why did they continue the demolition drive even 1.5 hours after the Supreme Court order came? That they say that because a physical copy did not reach them, they could not stop the demolition drive. So there's a host of claims and counterclaims that's coming in from Jahangirpuri, but we haven't met a single person whose either partial shop was raised or completely the shop was raised, who's come forward and said that they have been issued a notice. We've also met a person whose jhuggi was partially raised, and he says that he also has a stay order. So these are the claims that are coming in from the ground of those who have suffered from the demolition drive. Some of them say that they will also head to court. Like we spoke with Mr. Gupta, he says that for an answer on why this demolition drive happened, despite his shop, which he claims is legal, was demolished, he says he will go to court now.
I'm going to cut across to Amit Bharadwaj. Amit, you also have spoken to some of those shop owners, those commercial establishments that have been there for years. Give us an understanding, a sense of how long have these shops been functioning? How many years have they been alive and thriving in that locality? And is this not absurd that the MCD, the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, woke up right this morning to decide that they wanted to raise down all those illegal structures right beside the mosque, exactly where the spot of the communal violence that broke out?
Well, absolutely right, Nabila. That is a valid question, a pertinent question, but I'm also trying to give you the situation on the ground. Certainly, the police deployment has been increased on the ground. The paramilitary forces have been certainly called to the stretch of Jahangirpuri Masjid stretch. And they are clearing out the locals as well as the media. The entire media has been pushed away from the Jahangirpuri mosque stretch, and we are being asked to move away from this particular stretch. However, no clear direction has been given out, information has been given out by Delhi police as to why they are clearing out the people. क्यों हटा रहे हैं सर इस वक्त आप लोग यहाँ से? So clearly there is no clear answer from the police officers, and they have also asked the shopkeepers to shut down, bring the shutters down, and the media is being also asked to move away from this particular stretch. So that is situation on the ground. And for the response to the question that you asked, there are n number of shops, at least 10 to 12 shops near the mosque area itself, of which the extensions. When I say extensions, what exactly I mean by that is that if you see this shop, there's no tin shade above this shop, but there were at least a dozen of shops which had tin shades, which were brought down by the North MCD bulldozers. And then these shops have also built ramps right in front of their shops, ramps like this one on the drain, the local drains that are passing by. So the bulldozers have also damaged these ramps, and these illegal encroachments have been done away with by the MCD officials. And many of these shop owners claim that they have been running their businesses here for the past couple of decades, including this particular juice center on the street itself, which was raised down at 11:30 in the morning. Why I am underlining the time is that 11:30 is way beyond the time when Supreme Court of India had issued the status quo order for Jahangirpuri, which essentially means that the public authorities cannot do any action on the ground, even an inch of action on the ground, once the status quo order is passed. But despite that, at 11:30, this particular juice corner was raised down, and I had spoken before the bulldozers had touched this building. I had spoken to Raja Iqbal Singh, who is the mayor of North MCD. He had said on camera, on India TV, today's camera, that the demolition activity has been stopped for the day, and they will seek legal opinion on the matter, which means that North MCD's mayor had clear-cut information about the Supreme Court status quo order. And even after knowing as to what Supreme Court has said, the demolition activity on the ground was carried out. And the point to be noted is this particular shop owner is saying that he's a legal allottee by the DDA since 1977. And what you also see on the ground is that several political parties and their workers have also reached the ground, are getting sense of the
now this
situation.
is going to be a massive political flashpoint.
मार्क्सवादी कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी की तरफ से आए हैं, और आज हमारी पोलिट ब्यूरो मेंबर बृंदा करात ने आके बुलडोजर को रुकवाया गया है, और अभी हमने जिनका नुकसान किया है दुकानदारों का, उनका सर्वे किया है, और कल हम लोग पिटीशन डाल रहे हैं.
Okay. So CPM members, remember Brinda Karat had come to the ground. And she had stopped the JCBs from carrying out the demolition activity. Over to you.
Right, Amit, we do know that what we saw was at least an hour and a half post the Supreme Court's verdict asking for a stay on this matter, the demolition drive continued. And as per your claims, you have one part of the MCD, the municipal corporation, saying that they knew what the Supreme Court order was, the other side saying that they didn't know what it was. So communication within the officials of the MCD itself was lacking. They carried out demolition drive close to an hour and a half post the Supreme Court orders, which could eventually lead to contempt of court as well. These are illegal constructions that have been lining that entire stretch for decades now. It took a while for the MCD to wake up and carry out this demolition drive, right timing with the time of this Jahangirpuri riots that took place, the communal clashes that broke out on Saturday. Now, of course, many answers that need to be given by the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, along with those illegal shop owners. If it's illegal, it must be raised down. But did they receive a notice where adequate protocols followed? Were they given time time to make alternative arrangements? Were these shop owners paying taxes? And if they were paying taxes, then they should have been given adequate time to make alternative arrangements. All of these questions must be answered. We know, of course, now this will become a political flashpoint. And like you show us, Amit, we see that people from the CPIM have already arrived, trying to survey the area and get a feedback from the locals there. And then they claim that they're going to be filing a petition on this. Now, Amit, do stay with us. We see that the exact spot where the riots broke out in Jahangirpuri was exactly where the demolition drive took place this morning. In fact, the mosque outside, which communal clashes broke out on Saturday during the Shobha Yatra, saw demolitions taking place where bulldozers came in large numbers, mowing down the series of shops there that were deemed illegal by the MCD. Many of those shops, other commercial establishments in front of the mosque were completely razed down. In fact, the mosque gate and the wall of the mosque was also demolished. It was in this very road that you see that stone pelting and violence broke out just 4 days ago, and officials continued their demolition drive despite the Supreme Court saying, asking for a stay order, asking to maintain status quo. An hour and a half later as well, we saw the bulldozers continuing with all their action, claiming that they had not received a physical order copy of the stay.